What's up, guys? This is Beast Poker, and I am checking in after a little hiatus from playing some poker, some live poker. I've been working and playing some online poker, doing a little bit of tournament grinding and learning. Doing okay, but right now we're back at cash games, and I'm going to talk about a 5-10 session, two 5-10 sessions I had over the last couple days, and then we're going to talk about a error that I have noticed that I do, and I think kind of we're plugging a leak. Always got to plug leaks. And 510 kind of exploited this leak, or at least put some light onto this leak that I have, because I think I get away with it at 2-5, and I used to get away with it at 1-3. So up here you can see my little blank slate, and I'm gonna talk about. I played about seven hours over 2 days at 510. It's the first time I ever played 510. Played part of that session at the Win, and then part at the Bellagio over the 2 days. It was up about 200 at the Win, down about 2,000 at the Bellagio. Didn't run particularly well. Had to fold a lot in 3-bet and 4-bet pots. So it was like 200 there, 300 there. Kind of ignoring a shit. Never really punted, but I got in situations that were tough, and I realized I maybe shouldn't be in these situations. And I think I overplay suited connectors. So I went through all the pre-flop charts for 100 Big Blinds Deep Cash game, and I reviewed my suited connector play, and I realized I have a big leak. Uh, I think I used to get away with 3-betting and 4-betting suited connectors because 1-3 and 2-5 players are a little bit more passive after the flop. If they don't hit it, they fold to aggression. The 5-10 players, they're tighter and more aggressive. So when I don't hit it, I have to fold. And I lost a lot of money that way. So it was good to see this, because when I make mistakes, it's good to clean them up. So let us get into these pre-flop charts at 100 big blinds. Let's start with raise first in, because I didn't even think I was doing anything wrong with raise first in. But at 100 big blinds, look at 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 6, 5. You're open folding these from the low jack, which I thought was extremely tight. 2-5, it's actually fine to play them because you don't get 3-bet that often. But at 5-10, it's like you get 3-bet all the time. It's 3-betting everywhere. So to not get in those positions, don't open with that. So maybe I have to tighten up a little bit. Even on the button, you're playing them all. Oh, raise first in. But cut off, you're still open folding some of these 8-7 suited, 7-6 suited, because you're at risk of getting 3-bet. You don't want to be 3-bet out of position because you're going to get in tough situations like I did. Okay, so now this is where I was starting to make mistakes. Actually, it's not versus raise. Let's go cut off or button versus raise for middle position. So this is middle position versus button. If I'm in the button, I 3-bet these guys up here, which is all your value, and then you balance the value with bluffs, which is the king 10, king 9 suited, the ace 8, ace 7, ace 4, 5, 3, all those suited hands. What was I doing? I was taking all of these hands and turning them into 3-bets. Probably because I saw this little sliver right here, this little sliver right here. I'm like, oh, I love to use those as 3-bets, because they should be 3-bets. Mostly they're folded. 8-7, 9-8 is always folded. 9-8 is always folded because if you accidentally get 10 jack queen and you have the straight, half the time you run into ace king high straight. So you're going to lose a whole stack over that. You never want to be in that situation. So I should be calling these, not 3-betting them. And that was a mistake I was making. So I'd 3-bet them, and then I'd get 4-bet. And what am I doing in a 4-bet pot with these hands? It's okay. You can get there, but every single time, not okay. So this is a late position versus an early or mid position raise. What if you are in the big blind? So verse raise when in position, mostly call. Verse raise when out of position. That is right here, and you're big blind, you're out of position. You can still use them occasionally as a 3-bet, especially I know as you get against later position opens, because you have so much value up here as your 3-bet range, so you're 3-betting so much that you have to find more bluffs, and these are the bluffs you find. This is the only spot. Big blind versus late position raise. Big blind versus early raise. You're calling these. I know it really likes 6-5. I'm gonna maybe use that as my solo 3-better in position and out of position, and I just need to call more. So I have it up here on my blank slate. Mostly call. Okay. Now let's do versus a 3-bet. Will be now late or mid position versus a 3-bet from button. What are we doing? We're calling. It's easy to call in a 3-bet pot out of position. It's fine. Opponent position, still fine. Your position, still calling. 6-5-5-4. So I think sometimes I would still use that as 4-bet bluff for no fucking reason. So when I'm out of position, it's a call. It's okay to call. Now let's go when I'm in position versus a big blind or a small blind 3-bet. Still just calling. I don't want to make any of these pots 4-bet pots for no reason. So when in position, just call. When out of position, just call. So I'm making these pots huge for no reason. Versus 4-bet when in position. So versus a 4-bet. Well, this is when you're out of position. So this is versus out of position 4-bet. If you chose to use a suited connector as a 3-bet, or as a 3-bet, you can still call with your suited connectors. So now let's do if you are big blind versus 3-bet. No, versus a 4-bet, I mean. Now you're out of position. So that was when you're in position. Sorry, my bad. When you're in position, you can call. When you're out of position versus a 4-bet, I'm going to say mostly folding. I was always calling those, except for against the button. So versus 4-bet when in position, you can call. And I'm just going to make this fold. So I don't want to be out of position with a suited connector for no reason. And I found myself in this spot maybe 5 or 6 times where I think it was tough because there's a lot of multi-way, like there's a raise, and then I choose 5-4 suited as a 3-bet from the button, as a squeeze, and then the big blind 4-bets me, and I'm in the button. That's not fun. And I think I call, or I even 5-bet or something bluff. Way too much. I think I got excited because I was playing 5-10 against a lot of pros, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I have to be more aggressive. No, I just have to be more GTO. In 5-bet pots, I shouldn't be here. I should have folded by that point. So, in summary, I was finding my way into 4 and 5-bet pots for no reason with these suited connectors, and I shouldn't be doing that. And I should be starting from the beginning, raising these less frequently and only in late position. Overall, though, playing 5-10, I had a pretty fun experience because it was my first time playing 5-10. Probably 75% of people are pros. They're all really good. I realize there's no room for error. I had an error here. I think my game is pretty strong, and I'll be able to be in 5-10 pretty handily pretty soon. But I don't want to push my bankroll. I played heads up against a pro who plays 25, 50, 50, 100 sometimes, and I took him for $200 over about an hour and a half. He quit because he says, hey, you don't have any leaks. You should be playing 5-10 pretty soon. And I was thinking, Maybe I will be. And so that this guy was a Swiss young pro, and I took that compliment. His name was Phil. If you ever see that, just know that your first time I played heads up 5-10 with anybody. Um, I think that's that. Overall, it's just me cleaning up my suited connector play. This is like the same thing as I did with the Ace King, where I think I have it down, and it turns out I don't have it down because I grossly overplay the hand. I tend to overplay. I guess that's my error. But I'll be coming back with more videos talking about mono boards, playing with PioSolver in the next few weeks. But until then, deuces, run hot.